There's another threefold division of the human being, looking at the human being, which I want to cover before we do much else. And it's an age-old idea about three capacities which people have, which you and I have. We have the ability to do things, we feel, and we also think. So this combination of thinking, feeling, and willing or doing describes everything which you can do, some combination of them. If you can think of things that aren't a combination of thinking, feeling, and willing, please let me know, because I'd like to know what they are. So we have thinking, feeling, and willing. They really are very important when we start looking at standard education, which is why I wanted to cover them in this first session, so when we do other things it's already sitting there in you. Now, when you think about you yourself, when I think about me, that combination of thinking, of feeling, and willing comes out in different guises in every single person. We all have different strengths, we all have different weaknesses. And if you are honest with yourself, I would imagine that when you think, am I really a thinker? Is thinking my a real strength here? Or are you thinking, the richness of my feeling life, the richness of my emotional life is really where I sit comfortably? Or am I a person of action? Do I really do stuff? I don't only talk about it, I actually do it. And well, certainly I better talk about me rather than presuming stuff for you. If I'm honest, I think I can think. Tell me otherwise. I think my strength, the strength which I have, is in the feeling realm. And then we have doing, and this will-based one, the will to do. And I have a real strength of will where it applies to feeling, and also where it applies to thinking. When it applies to doing stuff, that is not my strength. If you expect me to be cutting the lawn, forget it. I just won't. I'd much rather pay someone else to do it, and that allows me to do things which I think are my strengths. I also know other people who would love to do really practical, hands-on tasks. If you asked them to think, or expected them to think, they'd run away or not know what you're talking about. Similarly, you can possibly think of people, maybe people you're quite close to, who are not that comfortable talking about their feelings. It's not their comfort zone to go and talk about poetry or whatever. And other people will think and think and think and think and think and solve all the world's problems, but will never do anything. They'll only think and talk about it. So we all have this real mixture in us, which has thinking, feeling, and willing in a different combination. You're different from me. You're different from everybody else. I think it is really interesting, if you haven't already done it, go and, as it were, inwardly have a look at yourself and just say, am I a thinker? Is my emotional life really, really rich there? And am I a doer? And just find where your strengths are, and if you then want to work on some aspects which aren't your strengths, that it can be very worthwhile then identifying them, and you have something to work on. How this relates to educating children, I'll be dealing with next week. But thinking, feeling, and willing as soul aspects, I just wanted to mention now. Thank you.